Andrew Parke, cinematographer. After I left Burns and Sawyer's sales department, I worked as a camera assistant and I loaded film. And then I became a first AC for many years. I was doing pretty large union films doing that. But all along I was shooting indie films for a company called Action International Pictures. And they have quite a library now. And then I've kind of fallen into doing indie productions lately. It could be 100 as cinematographer and 100 films as a camera assistant. I did a vertical, it was called Sweet Homecoming, I think it was. But it's now called Divorce Me One More Time. There's really no difference to an indie film, but they are pushing the boundaries of doing it cheaper and faster. But what you need to know is most verticals really just a soap opera. I even think they should have teleprompters because when you shoot 10 pages a day, the issue is the actors can't get all their lines. They don't. When you do a soap opera, they do a half hour a day. They have teleprompters, not on the camera, but off camera where their eye line is. Well, that's the thing about vertical productions. They tend to be pushing the envelope of being small and shooting fast and cheap. So the camera operators have to do their own focus, for instance. Some maybe have a first AC. When we did it, we had to do our own focus. So we had to embrace and learn how to use autofocus. That may seem, I've never learned how to use auto, but we started using autofocus. So we would have A camera operator, B camera operator. The A camera is the DP. There's not two operators in a DP. So it's DP operator, A and B camera. We didn't have an AC. I think you should have an AC so someone can clap. And then two people in grip electric. So a grip and a gaffer. If you can do it, that's what we try to have. If the budgets get bigger, the crew can get bigger. I mean, it depends on the producer. Indie is a nice word. So vertical, I don't know. Like I say, they're kind of like, they're soap operas. It's not even a Hallmark movie. And the ones that I worked on, the stories were stolen from other material that existed, like older films. They just ripped the story off, changed a little, add a little kid. Well, we try to have more eye light than in this interview where there's no additional lighting at all. The main thing is coordinating the cameras, because if I'm operating one camera, it's hard for me to help the B camera operator out because I can't see his shot all the time. I can run over there before we roll, but once we start rolling, if he gets in trouble, he has a background problem, something, it's hard for me to help him. The cameras are actually either on an L bracket or you put a mount on the side and you rotate the camera 90 degrees. When I was shooting, it was for real shorts and they have no other deliverable than 9x16. I have done many vertical projects like this where you shoot 16x9 and then you extract 9x16, 1x1, 5x4. And you do it for each of the platforms. So you have multiple deliverables. But the problem is when you need to do a master shot, you want a wide shot, but then you start seeing the ceiling of the floor. And you can't really frame for the ceiling because then they're down at the bottom of the frame where the subtitles are and they're covered up. And the other thing is you have to watch headroom because you have to protect for the dynamic island on the phone. So you can't have the frame here. It's got to be here. So, the vertical, quite often you have to dress the foreground. It's hard to do wide shots. The speed of the lighting setup is predicated by the number of pages on that day. And the number of pages will vary depending on the locations, because they might say, well, this location, we got 15 pages. And you're like, oh, that's really pushing it. I mean, we've done more. We've done 20, but the actors, if they lose it, they can't keep track and you have to break it up into chunks. So the lighting setup, you say, we got to do it at this speed to make our day. So a good producer will try to find all the locations within one location. So if you're in a house, you can have the bedroom and then dress something to be an office and then dress something else to be whatever you need it to be. Or you go to one of these Gigster or Peerspace type stages where they have an airport gate or the check-in or whatever, or they have a detective's office or a prison, or a jail cell or whatever. So you don't have to pack the truck and move. And yes, we did have a truck because you got some stuff. But yeah, if you try to do multiple locations a day where you're packing and moving, you lose too much time. I'll say this, when I worked for Action International Pictures many years ago, the director every day would say to me, he goes, if you don't make the call sheet today, you're fired. So I always made the call sheet. So, but try to be in on the pre-production when they're making the schedule and say, wait a minute, we got this is getting a little too much because the producers are pushing the envelope of trying to do too much too fast. There is no one answer. You make it go as fast as you need it to go. So, and then keep it simple.